Hi, thank you very much. Another Australian implant to the US, this time living in Connecticut, but not as big a stretch to come here as all the way from Sydney. So I'm a co-founder of Big Room. We're applying for .eco. We actually founded our company in 2008 in Canada. My colleagues are in Vancouver. We founded the company solely in order to apply for .eco, so we've been following the ICANN process pretty closely for a number of years. I'm somewhat expert on it now. And however, several of us have backgrounds mainly in the environmental space, in the eco kind of community itself, and have sort of brought that knowledge and understanding to our application for .eco as well as our networks. And what I wanted to do is just talk through a little bit about how we've structured our application, why we're doing it, and kind of where we're at right now, given the latest timeline and the January sort of deadline coming up. So the greatest opportunity to enable green markets in the history of the internet. This is one of our stakeholders who said this. The flip side of that, of course, is this really that needs to be managed well. Especially from the point of view of this very large and opinionated global environmental community. Before ICANN even launched a community track, we actually went down a very rigorous multi-stakeholder consultation process to come up with our model for .eco. So our model for .eco is really to be an online badge for businesses and organizations, products, individuals to demonstrate and prove their commitment to the environment and to sustainability practices. So we believe that this is actually additive to the environmental space. It goes beyond just a nice branding opportunity, because one of the problems that is holding back green markets and environmental kind of information online is that it's so dispersed and so distributed, and it's quite hard to sort through who's who, what's what. There's estimations that there's over 1 million non-profit environmental organizations worldwide. How do they find each other? How do they know who's who? Then if you think of all the green marketing that's been happening in the last few years, it can be very complex to figure out, well, is that a green product or not, and why is that? And many different dimensions going on here. So, we see this as largely an information problem, and one that .eco can really help solve. So we're going a bit beyond it being a community application and really trying to do something innovative, using the infrastructure of the top-level domain to serve a sort of purpose to the environmental community. So what does that mean? Our model will enable people to really check out what are the eco credentials of the websites and domains registered there. And they'll be able to compare and find and sort through that information in a much quicker and easier way than ever has been done before. It's also obviously very international. And that's something for the environmental community is very international. So maintaining the integrity of .eco and stewarding this in the longer term is really the paramount focus of our application. We have, as I said, gone through a community-driven policy development process ourselves. And what has that meant? We have, over the last 3 years, actually held 7 public forums in 6 different continents around the world to establish a mandate for what .eco is, what the model is, all the different policies that are going to govern it, who's going to decide on what, how that whole infrastructure will work in the longer term. And we have, as a result, a set of really robust policies now that have been through that process, that everyone came to consensus on. It was long and it was hard to get some of these groups in the room together. But we've sort of achieved that, and now it's about applying and getting ready to launch it when we get through this next step. The other side of that, of course, is by engaging all of these groups, they're really now keen supporters of our application. And so the Community Council that has been following this process and really giving input directly on the policies and so on. Here are some of the organisations involved. Greenpeace, WWF, Conservation International, Green Cross International. These are some of the largest, most well-established environmental organisations around the world. Some of them you may not have heard of because they're in Africa or Brazil. We felt from the start it was very important this be a very international effort. We're also, really pleased to be supported by a bunch of different technical and content partners, including affiliates who we heard from Roland earlier. It's been a very important partnership for us, and we continue to build this out, both from an environmental information point of view and also from the technical point of view and other things going on there. So to kind of sum up, just wanted to say that, after 3 years of work on this, we're pretty confident. We've assembled a very strong team, really robust set of policies, and it's been a fun and interesting process. We've really tested out our model and have it pushed and pulled from every angle, as you can imagine, with these environmental organisations. Really care about this and are really engaged. So looking forward to January and getting going. Finally, thanks. Thank you.
I definitely think that's a great partnership between you and affiliates, and I look forward to seeing good things from you.
Could I ask?
Yes.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Sure.
How are you going to maintain the integrity of your second level applicants? Is there going to be some kind of vetting process? How is that going to work?
It's a very good question, Julie.
Yeah, well, so the question was, in case the microphone didn't pick it up, how are we maintaining the integrity of the applicants for .eco domains, so the second level applicants? And basically it's a registration process where we're going to be asking them to fill out a bunch of questions concerning their organisation's environmental performance and footprint, and then based on that, if there are problems with that, then it will go through an accountability kind of mechanism. So basically it's a kind of a self-policing community, if you like. So we're not sitting there, well, no, because we're not sitting there screening everyone and certifying everyone up front. However, if there are problems, if people have, complaints about particular, organisations or particular use of that domain, then there is a process to go through and complain and discuss and so on. So this is what we've spent several years talking through with the environmental community about, how can we make this work and make it both accessible on the one hand and broadly available to everyone, but also have some standards in there as well. So yeah, there's more detail on our website on exactly how those policies will work, which is .eco.org, and you're welcome to check them out. Yeah, it's a great question because it's taken us some time to think through how this will work.
When we spoke in preparation of this, I really liked hearing that you said that the ICANN delay actually led to deeper dives of thinking rather than sitting and waiting like some ventures might do, or even abandon. And then also on a larger scale, ICANN itself would look at each of the new TLDs and whether or not they're following through what's in their application, and ultimately we might see some get stripped from the people that they're awarded to.